At one time, Seville, or Sevilla in Spanish, was the largest and richest city in Spain, if not the world. Kings had their palaces here even before Fernando and Isabella finished the Reconquista in Granada in 1492. Christopher Columbus knew these streets well, disembarking at the Golden Tower on the banks of the Guadalquivir River. The Admiral was well known by Spain's royal family, and his remains rest here in the world's largest Gothic cathedral. In the days when Spain controlled America, this river would have been choked with seagoing vessels. That's before it silted up, and the gold and silver from the New World went elsewhere. My wife Liz and I were already in Andalusia, visiting Granada, so it was just a short bus ride to Seville, described by some as the soul of Spain. Arriving at the bus station, we had to cover quite a distance to reach Seville's historic center. We had little time to lose. We had first planned to spend a night and day here, but Seville, which is notoriously hot in summer, was even hotter than usual, enough to make the TV news. So we made this a day trip from Granada, a quick video shoot before returning to Granada. On the way to the cathedral, we saw signs of construction, some of it centered around expanding Seville's light rail system. Using Seville's public transportation system, we navigated our way to the historic center of town, where we'd find what we came here to videotape. Finding the cathedral is easy if you can spot the Giralda Tower, which by law is the tallest structure allowed in Seville. Seville's cathedral is the largest Gothic church in the world and one of the most expansive cathedrals in Europe. It was erected over 120 years' time, replacing the mosque that was built of brick at this site. Today's tower was yesterday's minaret, where Muslims were called to prayer 5 times a day. Outside the cathedral, the Plaza del Triunfo is a very public space, giving thanks for sparing Seville during an earthquake that destroyed rival Lisbon back in 1755.
He looks like one of those explorers. Remember, Mary's very popular.
We didn't linger too long in the mid-morning heat. We were hot on the heels of Christopher Columbus, and to catch up, we left the plaza and passed through this royal gate. Here kings and queens set up their palace, with Queen Isabel adding a far-sighted twist. With so much wealth coming from the New World, she had a wing added to the royal palace, the Admiral's wing, for Admiral of the Seas Christopher Columbus, known in Spain as Cristobal Colón.
We are in Seville, Spain, and we are at the palace, you could say. Well, it is a palace. This has been a palace ever since the time of the Moors. But this palace right now that you see today was reconstructed over the old Moorish palace, and it was constructed by people you've heard of, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. They constructed this palace to have their presence in the town of Seville, which is where the fleets went out to the New World, including the 3 ships that Columbus sailed in the discovery of America. In fact, what Columbus brought back from America was so rich and so special that the royal family opened a special wing in this palace especially to deal with things from America. They called it the Admiral's quarters, and that's because Columbus was known as the Admiral of the Open Seas. That was the rank he was given by the royal family. The riches that flowed into this place from the New World and the new things that flowed into here opened up a whole new world. That's why they called it the New World, a mundo nuevo for the people who lived here, all because of Columbus and the explorations and the activity that followed. And this all happened right here in Seville and right here in this place called the Alcázar.
With more to capture on videotape, we took one look back at the cathedral. You see, the past of Columbus is in the Alcázar, but what remains of him today, his actual remains, are to be found in the Cathedral of Seville. As the day heated up, so did our pursuit. This is the Torre de Oro, the gold tower, named for the material that made up its roof. According to travel guide Rick Steves, the name did not refer to all of the gold and other riches that were unloaded here following their arrival from the New World. Yet it does mark the place where this action took place. We were strolling the banks of the famous Guadalquivir River, once a very busy port that made Seville the richest city in Spain.
This is the Guadalquivir River, and along this river in 1492, this was a major shipping port for Spain, and that's where we are right now, where in the past there were all these sailing ships along here. And it is right here from this area where Christopher Columbus embarked on his journey, his world-changing journey of the discovery of America. From this spot sailed the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Those are the three ships that Columbus embarked on, crossing what we now know as the Atlantic Ocean and finding what we now know is the Americas.
A staggering amount of wealth came to these shores along this river. Columbus was only one of many explorers who either departed from Seville or returned here with enough wealth plundered from the Native Americans to make the royal family crazy rich. Ironically, all these riches pouring into Spain only made most Spaniards poorer, and the Guadalquivir River slowly silted up, no longer able to receive this bounty. The royals took their wealth to Madrid, and Seville languished, but didn't disappear. Today, it's the fourth largest city in Spain, the most important city in Andalusia, and known as the soul of Spain. Liz and I will have to return to see this side of the city, but not in the summer. This had been a quick and rushed journey, but well worth seeing these sights and walking these streets. As a Spanish major, I had often encountered references to Seville, the jumping-off place for the Spanish explorers, the city where royal officials tried to control what came and went to this mysterious new world they called America. And here we were, right in that place where all this happened. We had planned to visit Cordoba on the same day. There's a church there built inside a preserved mosque known as the Mosquito. We had to leave Seville from a different bus station than the one we'd arrived in, so we arrived at Cordoba too late to see that stunning sight. It wasn't all a loss, though. We got a good bus ride. This one had a TV showing a promotional video of the bus company. So we were on a bus watching a video of being on a bus. I was glad to see some of the countryside in this part of Andalusia. It was nothing to write home about. It was about as flat as Kansas, along what could have been any interstate highway in the United States. Abandoned buildings like this one added some intrigue. but we didn't see anything that shouted, "You're in Spain." This is the modern, clean bus station in Granada. Seville had 2 bus stations. They were neither modern nor very clean. Their buses, however, were very clean and comfortable, and they brought us through these tiny Spanish towns, where we got a little glimpse of Spanish life. These were a part of the countryside known as the White Hills Towns. Rick Steves described them in his guidebook on Spain. There are no big cities here, yet tourists do make their way here to feel the charm. We also saw acre after acre after acre of olive trees, groves that seemed to have no end. They also grow sunflowers here and collect solar energy with these panels. We gazed at the Spanish countryside from our bus window until darkness fell. The following morning found us on a train leaving Granada for the capital city of Madrid. I spent time at the rear of the train, watching Andalusia recede. Here we're pulling into a small town. Here's Andalusia going away very fast. Here's another small town along the railway. Here's a look at one of the coaches on the train. Here's what an engineer would see traveling along the rails to Granada. But we were going the other way, returning to Madrid to further explore the capital city and to find ruins going back to the days of the Roman Empire. We had a lot to reflect on as I watched this region slip away mile by mile. Sometimes it seemed unreal, especially looking back through our memories. Seeing the world's largest Gothic cathedral with its flying buttresses holding the bones of Christopher Columbus, walking along the Guadalquivir River with the tall ships long gone. Amazing that we did this all in one day.